Quite a straightforward job, but you will need the usual stuff, so jack and stand, all the bits you need to remove the wheel, 30mm spanner, or ideally a socket for removing the caliper, and a 15 or 16mm spanner to hold the inner bolt. I used a 16, it might have been slightly too big, but it did the job. As per the background picture, a caliper rewind tool or a kit, and something like a flathead screwdriver for leverage. So with the wheel off, if you look behind, you'll see the two caliper bolts there, so they're 13mm. I've got a socket on them here, so that's what I'm going to use to remove these. You might get away with using a spanner, as I've said, but after a bit of time and the age these are now, you probably find they're a little bit stiff. So as you see here, using a socket to take a bit of a bash to get going, and you'll see the inner bolt starts to come with it. So that's a two-handed job. So I'm resetting here to use what I've said before, a 16mm spanner, but it might be a 15, just to hold that inner nut, and then the two bolts should come out quite easily. And then with that, if you just get something to get it started, it's a flathead screwdriver, just to lift the caliper off, and then just pry out the old pads. These ones weren't so bad, they were on the last MOT about 10 months ago as being a little bit worn as an advisory. Still a bit of meat left on them, but I thought it was time to change them anyway. So this is where you'll need the caliper rewind kit. So the pistons come out basically on like a screw, so you need to push them back. At this point I've taken the brake fluid reservoir cap off, which is another important point to make, otherwise you'll be struggling to push the fluid back. So this side was just a little bit stiff, so I'm using a spanner just for a bit more leverage on the turn, but after a few turns it does start to get a bit easier when you can rewind the caliper all the way back in, and you'll need this to be in as much as possible to get the space for the new pads to fit in. So these are the new pads that I'm putting in. They seem to be pretty much universal for Civics, so I've just popped them into place, and then with the extra space from winding the caliper back in, the piston back in, sorry, the caliper fits back on properly, so you'd be able to bolt it straight back up from here. And this is basically the same on both sides, quite straightforward. And you'd essentially pump the brake pedal after this just to get everything pushed back out again. And then as usual, making sure you've got a good pedal, take it for a very safe little test drive just to make sure everything's back how it was, ensuring everything's all tightened up as per before, including the wheels. Now I took this opportunity to pull some fluid through, so I've just got my vacuum kit here just to get things started. So there'll be, in this case, quite a lot of old brake fluid left behind. Once I'd done the initial draw through, I went to using the pedal instead, and then filling up the reservoir with some new fluid and pulling it all through until it was nice and clean and fresh. You see there the difference on the left to the right for the before and after, and this is the brake fluid that came out, so well worth changing. And then rather than leave them all rusty, I did have some spray, so I thought I'd just tidy up the rear calipers, and then used a little minion to help tighten the wheel back up. And this is the same on both sides, so as I say, quite a quick and easy job if you've got the tools. If this was useful, give it a like, subscribe for more.